questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Premier League Review Show. And look who's back! He's back, ladies and gentlemen! For the first time for Season 2, I finally have the other half of the Brothers of Discussion. The Shawn Michaels to my Triple H, the Kane to my Undertaker. I've got him. The worst thing to happen to Ireland since Mrs. Brown's Boys. It's eagle-eyed Nate.
We'll be having words about that, you and me. You know what? Now that I know somebody who works at immigration, I might have a word with them and buy you from the country. Yeah, you didn't think this one through, did you?
Yeah.
You didn't think that one through, did you?
Not to mention, we are joined also by Tariq in the comments. Big up to you, sir, and big up to Rich as well. And I believe he is ready to jump in. It's Statman Dan.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
For the second week in a row, we have Dan here on the show, guys. It's a triple threat for the Premier League Review Show. Game week 3, there's 3 of us. Right. So, it's been a busy old week in the football some are good, some bad reasons. So, let's start off with a good one. Game week 3, and it is a round of 3s for Chelsea as they finally get off to a win at Stamford Bridge. Of course, they face Luton Town, and it is the headline Chelsea finally get a Sterling win. Raheem Sterling bossing this game, fellas. Gets a goal inside the first 20 minutes of the game into a well-taken strike. He follows up with a goal after the hour mark. Another well-taken strike as he's proven to be wearing a Chelsea shirt before Nicholas Jackson puts it into pretty much an open net to score his first goal to open his Chelsea account. Chelsea get off to a winning start finally under Pochettino. Is this the launching pad that they needed, fellas?
I think Chelsea were going to do well this season anyway, to be honest, because they don't have European football. And I do think some of the players they signed are good players. Don't get me wrong, I don't think they're going to finish like Champions League or anything like that, but they'll certainly finish a lot higher than they did last season, I think. I think this win was coming. I thought they were a little bit unlucky against West Ham, to be honest, to lose by that much. And I think for them, having someone like Luton come up in the next game, I think was a dream for them. Like, no disrespect to Luton, but I think of all the teams they probably would have liked to play the following game, it probably would have been Luton to get that win and to get some momentum.
Nate, let's talk about Luton Town. They've certainly this is only their second game in the Premier League because obviously they didn't play in game week 2. What are you expecting from Luton Town this season?
See, the thing with Luton Town is you kind of know the second they won the playoff final, and we were watching it, all of us together, you kind of knew, look, they're just going to see it as one big season of Premier League football. It's a big paycheck for them to invest in and the whole lot. You can't really look at them in a fixture like this and expect them to do much. I mean, they're up against world-class players and players that have been going for serious money. But I think for Luton Town, the fact that they get to play Premier League football, this will galvanise them because not a lot of newly promoted clubs do well at Chelsea or the big boys in general. It's very rare that you do see the newly promoted clubs give the big boys an uppercut and give them a bloody nose. But I think, as you say, because they didn't get to play their first home game against Burnley, because obviously Kenilworth Road, we don't need to say it, it's a shed, let's be clear. It's one of those where this won't define their season, but losing 3-0, regardless of opposition, is a negative anyway, because it's very difficult to pick yourself up after a 3-0 defeat. 1-0 defeat, 2-0 defeat, you can say to yourself, look, there's still things to go. But if you're conceding 3 goals, whatever the opposition, if it's away from home or even at home, you just need to hope whoever Luton play next, they get a win over, because the longer they leave it without a win, and that goes for another promoted club in Sheffield United, they're both banging trouble. And Sheffield United, I know that Sheffield United have played Manchester City, but they've also played us, and they played, I think, was it Everton?
Forest.
So you see, of the 3 teams that Sheffield United have faced, and we'll get onto them in a second, but if you look at the patterns here, Sheffield United needed to beat us on the opening day of the season, because then it doesn't look as bad if you've gone 2 games without a win. With Luton, you don't expect them to do much. But then again, nobody expected them to be in the Premier League. I mean, let's be fair. Everybody would have put their hat on Coventry City getting there, because of the 2, Coventry was probably the more appealing because of the stadium and the size of the fan base. Luton Town, it was like, well, it'd be great for the town, but not many people know where Luton is apart from the airport. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you very much, fellas. We're going to move on. That's Chelsea getting their first win under Maurizio Pochettino. We're going to stay with a London club where they were playing away. We're going to go down to Dean Court with AFC Bournemouth 0, Tottenham 2. And Tottenham, signing Maddison is exactly as I put the headline. They are moving mad. Don't worry. I'll leave. That was a bad one for me. When I made that headline, I was tired. Bournemouth 0.
Sure, we'll go with that. Tired. Okay, that's the going phrase, is it? Okay.
Can we sim bin the host? Is that a thing?
I think we can.
Hang on. You can't, Dan. You cannot talk about sim binning anyone. We will find out why later on. So you
in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
It's funny enough, I'm actually wearing a Dragon Ball jumper. Oh dear. Right, anyway.
Anywho, getting back on track.
So James Maddison has just hit the ground running since moving from relegated Leicester to Tottenham Hotspur. This time he opens his goal account with a very, very well taken goal. And then Dejan Kulusevski scores a bit of I wouldn't say it's a howler, but it's a bit of a scrappy goal for Kulusevski, but a goal is a goal in the Premier League, in football in general. But Bournemouth, they certainly didn't count themselves out. Let's give them their fair dues here. They had a lot of great chances through Semenyo, through Philip Billing, through a lot of their midfielders. And I think credit goes to Bournemouth because obviously they had such a high in staying up last season, and they certainly made a fair amount of signings in the latter period of this transfer window. That means they don't want to go back down, and I don't think they will go back down because I think there's a lot of worse teams in and around the lower half of the Premier League this season. But Tottenham, still undefeated, guys. Is the sky the limit for what's their limit here for Spurs with Ange Postecoglou?
Okay, so for me, I'll level with you. I think this is just the new manager bounce kicking in.
Okay.
Where he's getting the rub of the green. The players are playing for him to prove that they're still good enough. Obviously, losing Harry Kane was a massive blow because naturally he was the source of the majority of their goals. I still think Tottenham should be within European contention because let's be fair, they built that stadium to have European nights. They're not just building that stadium for the sake of it. But when Tottenham do suffer their first defeat, that will be the key as to where that team is because losing Harry Kane bailed Tottenham out of a lot of games last season where they were awful. In particular, the game against Palace at their place. Take Kane out of it, that's a 0-0. So now that he's gone, yes, James Maddison, as you said, did well to get his first goal for the club since joining from Leicester, but you're still without Harry Kane. And with all due respect to Richarlison, he's not Harry Kane, and he's nowhere near Harry Kane's level. So you look at it and you say, okay, yes, they've got Richarlison, who on his day can be a proven Premier League striker, but he is nowhere near Harry Kane. So,
can I ask you, Nate? You just said it's the new manager bounce, and of course Harry Kane being that talismanic effect for Tottenham last season. Do you think that it's also the brand new tactic? It's attractive football that all these players want to play, because as you will know, having Conte as Inter manager for a period of time, Conte's football is not. It's not the most exciting brand of football, is it?
No, but I think with Postecoglou, look, he's doing well to get the best out of players that for a number of years under different managers underperformed. And you ask any Tottenham fan, that's the one gripe they had with a lot of the squad, is they knew that on their day, these players could be absolute world beaters. They could be players that could win you a game single-handedly. But for a number of times, these players that go hiding in big games, they go hiding in the games that Tottenham just about get over the line. The reason I say new manager bounce is that we've seen this before with Tottenham. They started strong and fade away, and then they have to pick it up towards the end of the season. I'm not discrediting that this is a good win, because a win any day of the week away from home, you take it and you run. Doesn't matter how you play, as long as you get the 3 points come the final whistle. But see, I don't want to read too much into a 2-0 win at Bournemouth, because it's how they fare against the big guns, including the Arsenals, the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds. That's going to define Postecoglou at Tottenham. It's important that he gets the points now, so that nobody's looking at it and going, oh, it's not going well at Tottenham. Why isn't it going well? He's had time to bring in his own players and bring in his own philosophy. He still does need time to implement that. So he is at the moment still in the very early stages of his time at the club. So you'd think with the way he worked at Celtic, he'll have time to do that. But as we know, the Premier League's heavily fickle. You lose 4, 5, 6 on the spin, even if they're not heavy defeats, but they're still defeats, and the pressure kicks in, the media kick in and say, Ange for the sack and the whole lot. So it all depends really on how Tottenham fare in their next 6 to 8 games. Now, look, Tottenham have got the quality to win on the majority of games, but they're also Spursy for a reason. So Postecoglou is going to have to try and eke out that Spursy trait. And we've seen better managers fail to do it. Pochettino failed to do it to an extent. Jose Mourinho couldn't do it. Conte couldn't do it. So you see what I mean? There is consistency with Tottenham where even when they've got managers that should take them up that extra gear, they're still Spursy, much to the delight of Arsenal fans who, to be fair, apart from last season, shouldn't really be talking too much. But you see what I'm saying? Tottenham did well to get the win, but I still think, having lost Harry Kane, there's still questions to be asked there of their attacking options, because for me, Richarlison's not the one. That's all I'm going to say on that, and I'm going to stop talking now.
Just a quick comment from the Mantunia. Don't forget to smash the like. Thank you very much. Yes, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. JC, in love with Big Ange instead. Best song to come out for a while. Dan refusing to ask Dan a question. Nicky refusing to ask Dan a question. Oh, Adam there. Nicky refusing to ask Dan a question.
There's a blooper.
I asked Nate a question. Give me a chance, Rich. Jeez.
To be fair, I think very similar to what Nate said. I mean, I think, yeah, the big hole in their thing is having Richarlison up front. I mean, like you said, he's a good player, but he's not Harry Kane. I think there'll be times where they do suffer for that.
And also, did I say Mantuna? I said Manchester.
You did Mantuna, yeah.
Did I? Oh, I must have been. Oh, blimey. Oh, blimey. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
2 bloopers on one stream already.
It's only on the Premier League review show. Lovely stuff, guys. Right, let's head into London for one of our 2 London derbies, both draws as well. This one certainly more thrilling than the other. Arsenal 2, Fulham 2. And this was an interesting stat that I read, courtesy off of X or Twitter, no matter what you want to call it. Arsenal have conceded in their last 3 Premier League games inside the first minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's only Arsenal, isn't it? It's only Arsenal. So
I think what he means, Dan, is their last 3 home games in the Premier League, because they did it, I think, twice towards the back
Bournemouth.
end of last season.
It's Bournemouth and their previous home game as well.
Forest, wasn't it?
Forest, that's it. Yes, thank you very much, Nathan.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
That's interesting.
3 home games, 3 first-minute goals. Andreas Pereira scores as it is so far, the quickest goal in the Premier League so far this season, courtesy of Bukayo Saka having an absolute nightmare. Aaron Ramsdale being caught out of position, and Pereira just puts it right past him, and Arsenal have egg on their face. And they this has been indicative of when Arsenal concede early, it's panic stations. They don't know what they're doing. They look disorganized. And it would take until pretty much into the second half. A penalty for Saka, which led to a red card for someone. I forgot who. But it is their second sending off in 2 games for Fulham. It would be Bukayo Saka from this penalty spot. He puts it away. And Eddie Nketiah again. Saka and Nketiah is a dangerous pairing. Proven so here. He puts them into the lead, but not before João Paulinho puts it in and ruins the day for Arsenal to level it up. Dan, let me go to you first. What has happened with Fulham? Because certainly it was panic stations with losing Mitrovic. Marco Silva was predicted to have been leaving the club, but now they're looking steady. What are you expecting from Fulham after this here?
If I'm to be honest, I think Fulham are going to have quite a bad season. The reason why I say that is because last season, this is purely statistics, so maybe it's wrong for me to say this, but statistically, they were very lucky to finish where they did. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to get relegated, but the last team to finish extremely lucky to where they did was Leicester in not last season, the season before, 21-22. They finished 8th, and they statistically should not have finished 8th. Like they were terrible. And lo and behold, next season they got relegated. Last season, Fulham statistically weren't very good, and this season they have obviously played Brentford and they have played Arsenal, but then so have we. They have statistically the worst expected goals and expected goals against so far this season. So if that's a trend that continues, I could see them having a bad season. And if I'm to be honest, I was actually trying to look at the odds to see what they were to be relegated, and I might just stick a cheeky fiver on if the odds are decent enough.
Fair enough. Nate, let's talk about Arsenal. The wheels aren't falling off yet, but dropping points at this stage when obviously they're expected to challenge again for the title, this could be a bump in the road for them. What are your expectations? If you're in control of this Arsenal team, what are you saying to this team after dropping points to a London rival like Fulham?
Well, I think first and foremost, you have to look at Arsenal's first 3 games and say to yourself, Nottingham Forest got out of jail. Just. Palace got out of jail. Just. Last Saturday, they didn't get out of jail because Fulham managed to claw back a point, and Calvin Bassey was the player who got sent off, just to let you know.
Yes, thank you very much.
Look, Arsenal, on the face of it, 7 points out of 9 in your first 3 is by no means a bad return. But when you're meant to be the closest contenders to a rampant Manchester City and a treble-winning Manchester City as they were last season. You're looking at Fulham at home, Palace away, and Forest at home, with all due respect to all three of those clubs. And you've got to say that's 9 points. Regardless of how the games go, they have to be 3 wins on the spin if you're going to keep pace with City and hope that City slip up somewhere along the way. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, they were in control of the Forest, but they let Forest back into it late on, and it was a bit nervy. The game against Palace, they were in control. The red card was strange, to say the least, but reality was referee made the call to send the player off. We all know it probably was the wrong decision, but look, however it's been done. And were it not for a pretty impressive display by Saliba, Palace probably should have taken more from the game than they did. But Arsenal managed to get over the line, got the win in the end, and they were going into that Fulham game full of confidence. 2 wins out of 2, not playing the necessarily best that they were towards the back end of last season, but they still managed to get over the line. But this Fulham game, Fulham dug in. Even a man down, they said, we don't need to fear these. Because you've got to remember, Arsenal, when it goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong. You know, and look, we've seen it last season. They lost Saliba, and the whole thing fell apart. So it's all well and good bringing in Declan Rice. It's all well and good bringing in Kai Havertz. And I think those 2 players, alongside Yuri and Timber, are massive additions for Arsenal. But there's still players at Arsenal that, realistically, you're saying to yourself, if you're just holding on to certain players for squad depth for when these things go Pete Tong, that's a negative. Because realistically, Arteta's been there long enough now that he should know what he wants from an Arsenal team in his image, because he's got rid of a lot of the signings that were there under Wenger and Emery. I think only 1 or 2 are still there, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But look, as far as this game's concerned, look, a 2-2 draw on the face of it, for an Arsenal fan, you look at it and go, yeah, that's not what we were hoping for. Fulham fans are thinking, listen, we got absolutely battered in the London derby against Brentford, in the local West London derby against Brentford. So they would have looked at a point away at Arsenal and thought, yeah, take it and run. Don't worry about that we had a man sent off. Just take it and run back across the Thames. Yeah. So, look, if you're an Arsenal fan, you've got to look at this and go, look, this is a game where you're going to look back and go, that's where the title was lost, or that's where the top 2 position was lost. Because Manchester City are expected to win it again for the 4th time in a row, I believe. Would I be right in thinking that?
Yeah.
You know, Manchester United, they can get their house in order. They could be up there. Liverpool, don't know. Chelsea, still in its infancy in terms of the Bowley era, but it's on Arsenal now to turn these around in their next game. And look, we'll only know if they do or not when they kick off in the next game. But yeah, as London derbies go, this was probably the better of the London derbies, because the one across the Thames was we'll get on to that.
We'll talk about that in a minute. The Manchecutioner, there we go, I can say it, says, I was hoping the change of scenery would bring about a revamped Raul Jimenez form, but it's not looking good. Do you know what?
This ain't looking good, man. It's not looking good at all.
Thanks, Rich. And he even pops up here and says, in my opinion, Arteta is doing too much. And of course, we have the other member of Eagle Eye Football, JC, says, trying to shoehorn Havertz in seems to have messed with their balance. And I agree with that. I think going in for Kai Havertz, it made no sense to me. Obviously, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't really focus on Arsenal's football. But going in for Kai Havertz never made much sense to me. But
not when they're stacked in his position as it is with Smith Rowe and Odegaard. You're thinking, where's he playing then? Because he's not he's not getting ready. He's not getting Saka out of the team or Martinelli out of the team. So there's 2 positions he's not going to be able to fill in for. Odegaard's the Arsenal captain and is a good captain at that. Smith Rowe is a fan favourite despite being made of chipboard. But the Havertz thing is just, I think it's purely because nobody else wanted him and Chelsea were eager to get rid of him.
I thought they bought him as like an alternative to like Jesus. So obviously we know Jesus likes to get injured, but also I just thought that Havertz, like, with his height and with his aerial ability, I feel like he added something maybe a little bit different for Arsenal up front. But like you say, shoehorning him into midfield to try and compete with Odegaard and people like that. I don't know. I don't really get it, and I agree. I feel like Arteta just feels like he needs to live up to his sensei Pep Guardiola.
Mm.
Like, I feel like he's trying to not pander to him too much, but like you say, like he's trying to make it as if like he's as clever as he is, and
he's trying to bootleg a version of Pep is himself. And look, I can do what Pep does and put a player that doesn't play there in a different position to make him look world class. Yeah,
exactly. And to be honest, I think all they should have done is just carried on like he did last season. To be honest. Hey, that's how you pronounce his name, Jesus.
Language lessons here with Down to 10 Dan.
How to speak Portuguese.
Quick question, guys. As Palace fans, quick litmus test. I want one word answer. Go. Emile Smith Rowe at Palace. Yes or no?
No.
No.
Okay.
Is this assuming it's like a loan or something?
No, just overall too injury prone. I don't want.
I agree.
Want an English Johnny Williams. I'm sorry.
Too injury prone, and I imagine his wages are too much.
Fair enough. Big up Louis. Arteta needs to go back to the original back line. And the Magicianer says Croydon De Bruyne out the door.
The what? Sorry, Nicky?
The Magicianer.
The Mantuner.
Mantuner, not again.
I was trying to insert that.
I'm never living that one down. Right. Let's move on to perhaps the most predictable game in all of whenever this game comes around, be it at Selhurst or be it at the Brentford Community Stadium, you can guarantee one thing: it's going to be a draw. Palace and Brentford, we draw again. Who would have predicted that?
I've already christened this game as the IKEA derby, just hella draws. That's all it is. It's just pure draws in this game. It's the IKEA derby.
I feel like there's an IKEA in Brentford as well.
It's gonna be look it up now. I know he is. Right.
Yeah, because there's one in Croydon and there's one in there has to be one in West London as well anyway. So it's the IKEA derby, so it's perfect.
There's one in I know this is slightly off topic, but there's one in Hammersmith and there's one in Wembley. That's close enough.
Hammersmith is closer, so yeah, that works. So it's the IKEA derby from now on. Sweet. Knew I was right.
The only thing I'm disappointed about is that it didn't end 2-2 because the first season was 0-0-0-0.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, and then 3-3 the next season.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? Would be nice. Right.
No, my heart can't take more 3-3 draws. No.
Right now, Nay, I'm going to ask you to describe Joel Ward's mistake leading to the Kevin Shard first goal. You were to say that you were how to put this in terms where we're for Watershed. You weren't exactly happy with Joel Ward's performance in this game, were you?
Not just him, but because he's the one dealing with that player, and he's more or less made no attempt to close him down. Look, no keeper is saving that, so I can't put it all on Joel Ward or aim at the goalkeeper. Yeah. It's a hell of a strike, but my anger wasn't even at Joel Ward. It was at our board. It was at the club, because if we're playing Joel Ward in 2023 against a player who's yet to score a Premier League goal, what a surprise. What a surprise. This kid hasn't scored a goal in Premier League football. And who does he score against? I've heard this before. There's a tape. We don't need to run it. But my point is, what got me angry was us thinking, we could have signed a fullback by now. But no. We don't do that over here. We don't sign a goalkeeper. We don't sign for areas that we glaringly need upgrades in. No, we sign goalkeepers for £20 million, even though we've still got a goalkeeper that's good enough. Granted, I don't really like Remy Matthews and I don't really trust the Spanish crybaby. But my point is, I'm looking at it going, why are we signing players in the wrong position? Or more importantly, why are we spending money in the wrong areas of the squad? Like, the mind boggles. But look, in terms of the goal by Kevin Shade, hell of a strike. Can't take anything away from the kid. It's a fantastic finish. But the minute I saw it went 1-0, I was just like, yeah, at least this time, if we get a goal back, it's the other side of the coin, because last season we took the lead at this stadium and a last-minute goal denied us 3 points and eventually led to Vieira getting the sack. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this game was a classic or it was, a tale of two halves or anything. But the equalising goal was hilarious, because I don't know how Brentford managed to manage Benny Hill defending, but they excelled at it because it was Benny Hill defending. Because I could just see the Benny Hill thing running around. It was just comical. Because I'm looking at it going, were they watching tapes of Wayne Hennessy and Mamadou Sakho? Because that's what it looked like. It looked like Wayne Hennessy and Mamadou Sakho when they had an absolute howler a few years ago for us. But yeah, look, Palace didn't lose, so that's a positive.
Yeah.
But I officially hate playing Brentford because we need to beat them and just put this game to rest. Because this IKEA derby business is just getting on my nerves. It's like, we can't beat Brentford. Like, they're a bus stop in West London, for Christ's sake. Oh, man.
Have we ever beat them since they came up? Or is
Nope.
it just been
Draw. 5 draws in a row.
They're the only London Premier League team that we've never beaten in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
That's annoying.
Yep.
Do you know what that is? That is just the most annoying tiny cut that hurts the most for me.
Yep.
Do you know the last time we beat Brentford in a league game?
Let me guess. This is Championship era, or
This
it's
is
even League One era.
This is what, Division 3, I think.
1964. But to be fair, that was also the last time before they got promoted. So we actually played them. So in the league.
Crikey,
so what was that?
Moses.
Division 2 or Division 3?
Division 3.
Oh, well done, mate.
Shows where both teams are now. So
yeah, exactly. Rich says, not according to me, I was saying 1 all week and put Palace to win 2-1.
Same.
I can't comment on typos and stuff like that. So
I will get into that later.
You can't talk about predictions right now. We will talk about it, but you can't talk about it right now. We will actually.
Just for reference, you two can't talk about self-snitching. So let's keep it that. Let's keep it moving.
JC says Ward had his man on guard instead of defending. That is comment of the show so far. He follows up by saying, Schlupp marked air badly. Schlupp can't mark anyway.
He just did everything badly.
He does. And it's a shame because on his day, he's a good player. When he wants to be, he's fantastic.
His day? When was that? 2 years ago?
He steps up now and again, but he hasn't done it in a while. Rich says, if we beat Wolves, 7 points out of 12 is a great start considering.
I agree.
And Louis says, if we had França and Elise, this would be a different score in my opinion. Not so sure about França because obviously I haven't seen him a lot. Well, I've not seen anything of him. Elise, and I'm not going to lie, these last two... JC said took up all the space and didn't make any, and... Wow.
Some very, very heavier.
I mean, in defense of Rich, like he has to watch Jeffrey Schlupp play for the Ghana national team, so he's sick of the sight of Schlupp.
Right. Let's move on to probably the team that's probably just on fire at the moment, and all for the wrong reasons. Wolverhampton Wanderers get a win, but at what cost? Because a late goal, it's 3 points. A win is a win. A goal is a goal, as we know. But I'm not talking about this game at all because this was oh god, this bored me to tears. Mateus Cunha? Is it Cunha or is it Mateus Nunes? Nunez. Yeah. They've got too many Mateuses at their club. He's got on strike and wants to force a move to Man City. Are we saying this game week 3? Wolves are done for.
No, because the thing with Wolves is that, remember, they've got to play Czech Professional Football Club on Sunday. So I can already see it happening where they're going through turmoil and crisis and they need a pick-me-up. And, yeah, I only hope the Czech Professional Football Club don't turn up on Sunday. But looking at this one, look, as you said, a win's a win. It doesn't matter how you win. It's that you win that matters. Everton, they for me, are going down. They have to go down this season. I'm sorry. They can't keep getting away with it. They can't become the West Brom of the Premier League. They have to go down this season because you know what? They are like the Sunderland and West Brom of a few years ago. They were just hanging on life support. It's time to pull the plug and let Everton go down and join Millwall for a couple of years because Everton have to go. I'm sorry. As a great man once said, it's time to go.
At least with Sunderland, at least the last 8 games of the season were always incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
Everton are just like drab, just
yeah. Well, they have signed somebody, and I was laughing in our football chat when Matthew Smith, friend of the channel, is now renamed Everton as Klarna FC because I believe that they've got 30 million. It's a 30 million pound signing, but they don't pay a thing. Or they pay 10 million a year. How they've done that, I do not know. But that is football manager settings, man. Let's give Wolves the fair due here. They did perform defensively very, very well. As I said last week, defensively and in their midfield, they are set. It's just that they have no out-and-out goal scorer. And they've come up against difficult teams. The Brighton game was a write-off because that was just atrocious football. And Brighton just decided, let's turn up and cause violence. Everton could have had chances. They didn't put them away. And fortunately, the chairman turns up with a fantastic comment right on time. According to Match of the Day, Everton have had 48 shots without scoring.
Wait, hold on. If that's the case, when do we play them? Because I know what's coming then. Because
not till November. We're all good.
Oh, thank the Lord! Oh, thank the Lord. I was about to say, if they go mad.
I mean, if they go that long without scoring a goal,
are we calling charity professional football
definitely.
Lads, I'm telling you, anybody who's brave enough to watch the 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, bring a sleeping pill because it's Sheffield United, Everton. 2 awful teams. Oh my God. But imagine that's the 12:30 kickoff.
Do you know why? It's because it's relegation 6-pointer. That's why.
Hang on. There's a comment coming up that I'm not sure on. But the Manchukutioner says, riddle me this. Why in the world did Palace spend 15 million on a snitch goalkeeper when you could have brought in some outfield players? Hervin Lozano might be leaving Napoli for that price. Good point. It's a Palace thing. We don't do things normally, do we?
No.
What transfer strategy do we have? We don't have
the Man United fans working for us to buy Henderson so they can go buy some next man. So hold on a minute, United fans. Settle yourselves. Like, let's be clear. You lot needed Palace to take him off your hands, so you had money to spend, apparently. Biggest club in the world is broke bum. Jesus Christ, that's mad, boss.
Louis says Wolves actually looked decent defensively. The chairman again. Wolves played well at Man United in the last 20 minutes against Everton. Not an easy game. No, but there are no easy games. And yeah. Everton should have scored a few goals. And Louis again says, apparently we're interested in Iwobi, but we're interested in everyone that can kick a ball. Apparently so.
We can't get a goalkeeper over the line without making it a week-long transfer, for Christ's sake.
This comment might just be how the best way to sum up a Crystal Palace transfer strategy. Can you kick a ball? Yes. Welcome to Crystal Palace.
That explains how we signed Jordan Much. Now it makes sense.
Your best friend. You love bringing him up, don't you? He's your best friend.
Hey, no. Everybody knows that my guy is Thomas Brolin. I'm old school like that. 1 second.
Thomas Brolin. Oh
Yeah,
my
do you know
God.
what I mean? Like Jordan.
Right.
Less than that.
Do you know
That is
what?
a throwback.
I'm not reading this one out, but there it is.
Ifs and no.
Yo, pause. Why is it written like that? Hold up a second.
That's a big pause, you know.
That's sus.
That can't be him, right?
That is hella
That can't be.
sus.
That's not him, right? Please tell
I
me that's
don't
not
care.
him. 'Cause if so, I'm turning heel again.
Listen, whoever it is, the way they've written that is just pure sus. That could be a timeout still. That's mad.
Louis says, didn't even watch the game, Rich. I'm going off how many goals they've conceded. Let's all laugh at Matt after that stat. Henderson is a waste man. I wouldn't wish him on anyone, and I got a soft spot for your club because of you lot. Aww.
Yeah, I thought. Well,
Cheers,
going
Santi,
too
but
much into
listen, Santi, if you had, I'd rather have Henderson than Guaita. Trust me.
True.
Yeah.
Rich says Dexter in the chat, and also yes, thank you, JC, for reminding me about the other criteria in order to play for Palace.
That's right. Yeah.
Random FC, or the potential grow dreads.
Facts.
Right. Let's talk about Manchester United. This game had it all. This was a cracking game to watch. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Nottingham Forest can catch Man United napping, and it is 2-0 inside the first 5 minutes. Teo Awoniyi and Willy Bowley scoring. Awoniyi is bossing this season so far. I mean, I don't think he's stopped scoring since last season. Fantastic striker for Forest. Christian Eriksen would get back onto the score sheet for the first time in a long time, bringing the game to 2-1. In the second half, Casemiro would level it up at 2-2. Joe Worrell would be sent off in the 67th minute. Controversial. And then again, now, Nate, you've said before in the past on the football chat that Manchester United get penalties out of nowhere at Old Trafford, and somehow you have prophesied the truth, because again, a penalty given at Old Trafford, dubious in my opinion. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Are you saying United got a sus penalty, and then United fans are telling us that Eze wasn't a penalty against Arsenal? Strangely, the United fans were silent in the chat during that decision. Funny that. But look, having said that, Forest have a right to feel aggrieved, because there's talk they might go to the, I think it's the PGMOL about it, to complain about the referees. But you complain to the FA about the referees, you may as well be complaining to a brick wall, because we all know they're all in cahoots. I mean, Mike Dean telling, I wanted to protect him because he's a mate. Mate, he made a clanger. And how somebody hasn't two-footed half the referees in the Premier League is mad.
Rich, sort your mind out, man. Clean out your mind out
the gutter.
Get your mind out the gutter. Dear me. I'm just going through the comments. Sorry, Nate. I completely interrupted you there. Sorry for that. Everyone's saying it was a penalty. It was, well, if it just looked dubious on replays. Dan, let's talk about Man United, because obviously they had an embarrassing loss to Spurs. Obviously, as Nate said, they need to get their house in order. They could challenge for the title, or they could have a look in. Do we think that they could get their house in order in time? Obviously, there's a lot of games to go. We've still got 35 to go. Do you feel that they will be getting their house in order now?
No. I think the problem with United, I think, is that one, they seem to be kind of mirroring last season, where they started slowly and they started slowly this season. And the thing is, it's not even like they've been unlucky this season. Like, they've actually just not played very well again this season. Their new signings haven't really bedded in yet, I don't think. maybe as you would want them to. And also, I know as well. Well, I mean, from the Man United fans I've seen on Twitter as well, they don't seem to be happy either. So I know it's not me just talking nonsense. Do I think? I mean, I think they'll finish in the European places, but I don't think. I don't know if they'll finish in the Champions League. Honestly,
right. Oh
sorry.
my god. No.
No, Vibes, how are you taking that so personally? Blooming heck. I mean, in fairness, I often think Steve Cooper would look as a good extra for a Lord of the Rings movie half the time, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah. I completely agree with you on that, Dan. Yeah.
I think just on Steve Cooper, I think on a serious note, I think people underrate Steve Cooper because he is ugly as sin. But
Put it this way, he's got a face only a mother could love. Bless him.
Sorry, I just want to go to Santi says the Zabozlai penalty was an actual madness. If we're talking about pens, we'll get to that. Neil says when Fergie was there, no visiting team ever got a pen, but did get 10 minutes of injury time. Fergie time is real.
Imagine what they get now if Fergie was still the manager.
Oh my god,
they get like another game to play.
JC says maybe Maguire is the problem at United. Rich, JC looking to get rushed for that comment. Chairman, bring back Maguire. Vibes. No, I said this last season. It's his eyes. Looks like he's getting his breath. No, stop. Please stop.
Vibes is cooking him, you know.
Oh my god. No, stop. I beg. Stop the Cooper slander. This is bullying. This is cyberbullying right here. JC, Palace fans didn't want him because he's clapped. Oh my god. And big up Rob, up the Palace indeed, sir.
Up the Palace.
Not much else to say about this game. It was 5-goal thriller. We've covered it. Shall we move on to a game that's definitely going to put a smile on our faces? This game, right? This is the hilarious stat. I saw that.
No.
Oh dear.
Okay. Wow.
Boy. Wow.
That's actually wow. Okay. Whoo. Okay. Right. 20. I think it's around. It's only like 28% possession with West Ham, and they get a smash and grab victory at the Amex over Brighton, who only get a consolation goal through Pascal Gross. James Ward-Prowse is cooking. Why can't our brand new signings cook? He opens his goal account after assisting in the previous games as well. Jared Bowen continuing his fine form. Michael Antonio 2 in his last 2. It's a good time to be a West Ham fan. They've just signed Mohamed Kudus as well. Incredible time to be a West Ham fan. Yeah, guys, what are we saying about West Ham? Because what else can we say about West Ham that we didn't already say last week after the Chelsea win?
Speaking about West Ham, I'll save my breath for a minute. I think, you know what, fair play to Moyes. I think he's done well. I thought they've reinvested the Declan Rice money very well. I love the fact that West Ham were overpowered with set pieces last season, so they went and bought the best set piece taker in the league. So, I mean, I haven't actually seen the goals, so I don't know what the goals were like. But yeah, fair play to him. Like, he's gotten 2 really good results off the back of, and I'll include myself in it. I thought West Ham were going to do pretty bad this season, even like probably finishing below us. But based on those results, I think, yeah, fair play to them. They've done well. They said they brought in 4 very good players. Yeah, Alvarez, Kudus, Ward-Prowse, and I feel like there was another person they brought in as well. And yeah, they've done well. Fair play.
Neil, your thoughts on the game as well, please.
It's nice to see Brighton get humbled because obviously last season they were fantastic. And I hate saying it, but reality is reality. It's very funny to me that West Ham in the last 2 games have turned it on because there were question marks about what was West Ham going to do once Declan Rice left. But listen, David Moyes is smashing it. Fair play to him. But will Europa League have a negative effect? Because the Conference League, with all due respect, I know we've never played in it, but you're expected if you're West Ham to be competing and winning in that, which they did. Fair play to them. But the Europa League's a different animal. It's a different caliber of opposition. So far, they've smashed it. And to be fair, if you can beat Brighton 3-1 on their own patch, and you got a lot of Brighton fans all of a sudden thinking, hang on, were we as good as we thought? Because that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, you've made a fantastic point there, Nathan, that I want to go off of your point and ask you a question now. Is this a case of they're getting the vital points now so that obviously when European football starts, they are allowed to take those hits that might come just due to squad availability and their squad depth? They've gotten the 2 wins. Obviously, that's 6 points, so that's fantastic for them, and that will allow them a little bit of a bump, you think, maybe?
See,
I think you just tried to win every game anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously.
Plus, it will depend on how their group, what the draw is for their group. If they get a relatively favourable group, then you'd expect them to balance Europa League duties and Premier League duties. But look, they were in Europe all of last season. They won a European final last season. So playing in Europe is no stranger to West Ham anyway. So it's not like this is their first ever season back in Europe.
No, this is 3 seasons in a row now.
Yeah, but because West Ham now are going into it off the back of a European success, the question is, can they make the step up to Europa League level where previously they fell flat? And as I said, the Conference League is still a European competition, so you'd want to win it if you're in it. But the Europa League is meant to be a step up from that because obviously it's not as elite as the Champions League, but you know what I mean? So with West Ham, if they've got something like 6-7 points on the board in their first 3, they're laughing because most people would have said, oh, well, they've lost Declan Rice, so they're screwed because he was the linchpin of their team. He was the embodiment of that club on the pitch because he took the armband off Mark Noble. But as you saw, West Ham saw Arsenal's bid and went, right, what we can do with that is we can reinvest in other areas of the pitch and cover 4 positions or cover 4 players with that money. It's what Palace should have done with Zaha. Just sell Zaha on and start this rebuild process early. We're playing catch-up now because we were so reluctant to lose Zaha for big money. And look what happened. We're still looking like we don't know what to do when we've got players that we need to be bringing in. We're like, we need fullbacks. But what did West Ham do? We've lost Rice. Let's get in Kudus. Let's get in Ward-Prowse. Let's bring in players that maybe aren't as good as him as one player, but they can cover 2 areas of the pitch that he used to. We know what Ward-Prowse can do in attacking scenarios. And you know that Mohamed Kudus is a fantastic player when he was at Ajax. So West Ham have gone about their business very smart since they let Rice go for the fee they did. This is where I'm really getting to get annoyed with our hierarchy because you're looking at it going, why are we not looking to year in, year out, actively improve in areas that everyone connected with the fan base can see need improving? It's no secret we need a left back, 2 right backs, give or take maybe another striker. Do you know what I mean? So when you look at the way West Ham are doing things and the way Palace are doing things, you're thinking, This is why West Ham are getting Europe season in, season out now. They've been building towards it. That's how Brighton got Europe. They built towards it. We're still figuring out how to build something. So for West Ham, look, a win's a win. And to win heavily at a team that they'll expect to be competing with for European football, you have to go for it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
As Rich says here, I mean, that says it all. Rich, you literally couldn't have put it better myself.
Yeah, completely agree with you. No, completely agree. Thank you very much. Right, let's go.
Oh, can I just say one thing about Brighton, please?
Go for it. Go on.
So, I thought it's very interesting that we're saying that it was a smash and grab. Statistically, my favourite word, Brighton only had 1.5 XG against West Ham, whilst West Ham managed to muster 3 XG. And last week, I know this did obviously last week, but Brighton and Wolves actually created the same amount of chances in terms of XG. And it wasn't like Brighton got whatever. They actually had the same XG last week. So if I was a Brighton fan, to be honest, and I was seeing these trends, knowing that Europa League is on the horizon, I would be a little bit worried, if I'm to be honest. Especially when you have a team like West Ham are a good team. But when you have a team that is able to so effectively counter your style of play, I would be slightly worried. I mean, and it's not just me just saying that because I'm a Palace fan. I saw Brighton fans saying how they couldn't break down West Ham's low block and stuff like that. I mean, all you got to do is kind of copy what West Ham have done, and if De Zerbi can't adapt to that, throw in Europa League football onto that. I wouldn't say if I was a Brighton fan, I wouldn't say I'd be worried, but maybe that it's a big thing to think about. In terms of will there be European football next year, for example. Just something to think about.
Brilliant. That's why we call him the stat man. Nate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you get your finger out your nose, please? You're on stream, lad.
It's not in my nose, but whatever you're into, Nicky. Whatever you're into, keep it off the stream, mate. Okay.
Also, can we talk about CEO of Charity Professional Football Club? Nice one. I like that. Right. Let's talk about Aston Villa. Matty Cash proves yet again that he is absolute class. Moussa Diaby as well. Ever since moving from Bayer Leverkusen, it's looking like a good time to be an Aston Villa fan. They sit comfortably in 7th place as it stands. 2 wins out of 2. Not bad, guys. Not bad. Burnley obviously didn't play last week just due to the Luton thing. Work to be done, as Vincent Kompany said after game 1. Obviously, they've had a week off. So is this a case of you've had all this time to prepare? It's not obviously translated on the pitch. Are we saying that this is maybe indicative of Burnley's season coming up? Or is we saying Villa were just too good, guys?
It's a bit of both for me. If you look at Burnley have come up from where you play Tuesday, Saturday in the majority of the season. Mm-hmm. So you're going from 2 games a week to 1 game a week. Now, you mentioned that they obviously had the game against Luton postponed because of Kenilworth Road and everything else. They had no excuse for that against Villa. Villa are a quality side, don't get me wrong, and Villa deserve their win. But if you haven't played for a week, that should give you ample time to know, right, we're about to play Aston Villa, one of the teams that are expected to really turn up this season. Because like I mentioned with West Ham, Aston Villa have European football this season because they're in the Conference League this season. And Unai Emery is a master at winning European competitions. Ironically, the team he didn't win it with was Arsenal, because he's won the Europa League with Sevilla, I think 4 times, something like that. I'm fairly certain it's
around about there. Yeah, they've won it a number of times.
Yeah, so you're looking at that as Vincent Kompany and saying, right, we're not playing Saturday as we were in the Championship. So we need to be well prepared for what Villa can offer, because we know Aston Villa have really turned up since Emery came in. Because under Steven Gerrard, Villa looked every bit like they were a team facing relegation. They got rid of Gerrard, and look what it did to them. Emery rejuvenated players that looked a shadow of their former selves. Kompany's done well to take what was left after Sean Dyche left Burnley, and he's elevated Burnley's style of play to make them somewhat less hated, because they were seen as a claret and blue Stoke.
And as
You know what I mean? They were literally seen as a claret and blue copy of Tony Pulis' Stoke City, where it's like, it's Burnley away this weekend. I don't even want to watch the highlights. I'm just going to be falling asleep watching it. You know what I mean? Because Dyche ball was never pretty to watch, whereas Kompany's tried to change up the style and bring in some players and trying to bring in some philosophies from his time at Man City. But in this game, they just didn't stand a chance. Villa blew them away. And you can see, Moussa Diaby, the money they've spent on him from Leverkusen. We know what Matty Cash can do, because he's proven by now that him moving from Forest to Villa before Forest got promoted, or was it just after they got promoted? Either way, you've seen that Villa have gone back to where they were under Martin O'Neill, where they're now seen as a contender for European football. Because a club like Villa should never be in the relegation picture. Let's be clear. They're a massive club. Same as Everton. But there's where Everton and Villa have gone completely opposite. Everton used to be consistent top 6, consistent top 7. Now they're looking like they'll be playing Millwall next year. Villa look like they could actually maybe dethrone one of either Liverpool or Tottenham out of the Europa League places if either of those teams don't pick themselves up this season. So it remains to be seen. And as Montana Prime says, Newcastle as well. So you look at the level of competition now for European football. It's not guaranteed that it's going to be the same 6 that it has been traditionally, because any one of them or 2 of them could miss out. Chelsea missed out last year. No one had Chelsea finishing 12th.
No.
And if somebody had said to me, put 50 quid on Chelsea finishing beneath Palace, I'd have thought, let me just lose money for no good reason. Obviously, 100%. With hindsight, I probably would have won a fortune, but Burnley just had no chance against Villa, because Villa are a quality outfit. And I just hope by the time that Palace played Villa at Selhurst Park on the final day, that Villa have nothing to play for, because I don't want Martin making our lives a misery during the game. But no, credit to Villa, they're a quality side.
Yeah, honestly, I completely agree with all that. I would give Villa an outside chance of getting Champions League spots this season. They seem to play really well. I really rate Emery. I rated him before he went to Arsenal. I rated him when he went to Villarreal after Arsenal. He's got a very good system defensively. He's sound as well. They've recruited well as well. That's the other thing. And like Nate was saying, that's where you do see like a difference between Everton and Villa, both massive clubs with massive fan bases. Yeah. But Everton have just completely, without using too graphic words, have absolutely wasted their money. Whereas Villa have actually spent it quite well, on top of then having also like the Jack Grealish money and stuff like that. And also, just talking about Montana's comment as well. I totally agree with that. Brentford, I think, are another team like that. I know they're looking at Brennan Johnson from Forest, who again, I think he would really suit that. I mean, we've seen how quick Mbuemo is. We've seen how good Wissa is as well, and Sharda. I think with Brennan Johnson on there, I think he'd probably put him on the left instead of Sharda. Imagine that counter-attack. Johnson, who's rapid, Mbuemo and Wissa, like that's just crazy.
That's a scary thought, yeah.
But when you have a team as clever as Brentford is doing like counter-attacking football, then it's obviously a viable option, I think.
Yeah. Let's have some breaking news, shall we, fellas? Haaland is human. He's missed a penalty. Now, before we go on to FPL and everything, I used my triple captain this week. I wish I didn't now. Bloody hell, he let me down. The boy let me down. I've been able to rely on this guy for easy points, even at Dortmund. Now he lets me down. Never relying on him again. My gosh. Right. Sheffield United won, Manchester City 2 in a very scrappy game. Sheffield did not make it easy for Manchester City. The champions certainly were put to if you pardon the pun here, they were put to the sword by the Blades. Jaden Bogle gets a very, very late equalizer after Erling Haaland makes up for the penalty loss. He scores on the hour mark. I see the shaking your head there.
Oh Lord.
You're
It's
a
not the
very,
best.
very nearly, Simbin, you just said.
It's not my best one. Rodri gets the winner 3 minutes after Bogle scores the equalizer after a rocket into the net. Rodri, if I was a goalkeeper and I see Rodri taking a shot, I'm moving out the way because this man has a rocket for a foot. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Thank you, Rob. Solidarity. Woohoo. And Rich is there like, yeah, well, Rich, you'll see the results after this one. Not much else to say about this one. Sheffield, who have acquitted themselves rather well, only losing by a goal, a late goal at that, against Man City. Pluses to be taken from here. Man City obviously go back up to the summit of the table. Not much else to say about this one, is there, fellas?
No, not really. I mean, look. See, the thing with Haaland is, and City in particular, they can have bad days and still win games. Like, everyone would have expected them to snot Sheffield United, and to be fair, they probably should have. But again, so long as you win, no one cares how you play. If you win, you win. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like, let's be fair, we had to watch Sam Allardyce football for a whole season, and we knew this is going to be awful. But when we won, it was like, yeah, cool, we won. Great. That's all that matters. So, it's not how you win, it's important. It's that you win. And I know that's an old cliche. I know.
But it's a true. But it is a correct cliche.
It is true.
Yeah. There we go. Right. The most comical. This is the most used meme in all of the Premier League. Darwin saves the day from Van Disney. Van Disney returns. His first red card in nearly 120 Premier League appearances. Now, I'm going to describe this, and then when we get into describing our team of the week, someone on this stream had better explain themselves, because Trent Alexander-Arnold has an absolute nightmare. Yet again, this man makes a mistake, which leads Anthony Gordon to run into acres of space. He's one-on-one with the keeper and coolly puts it away to send St. James's Park into pandemonium. The noise, even watching this on highlights, the noise of St. James's Park is pure pandemonium. They lead for most of the game, but not before Virgil van Dijk has an absolute nightmare and gets sent off, creating the return of the memes for Van Disney. I enjoyed that comment there. Thank you, JC. Darwin Núñez, though, steps up. But Liverpool, let's just say, did have their chances. Luis Diaz again has a close chance. That ball is magnetized to his boot, still gets the shot off despite prolonged Newcastle defensive pressure. But it would be until the last 10 minutes of the game. Darwin Núñez, 2 goals in almost just around about 12 minutes to break the Newcastle hearts. He's a decent talent, is Darwin, are we saying, guys?
For the money they paid, he'd have to be, because they paid a fair wage to bring him in. But look, it's just it's Liverpool. It's not the first time they've overpaid for strikers. I mean, I still can't believe they spent 35 million on Andy Carroll. That's and Benteke as well. So look, Núñez did well. Don't get me wrong. Credit the boy for getting a brace, but let's be clear. He's not what Liverpool should have had for the last. He's nowhere near Luis Suarez. call a spade a spade. But
Mm.
look, again, it wasn't pretty, but Newcastle-Liverpool games are always scrappy. They're never a clear-cut, one team snots the other. But that'll be a lesson to Newcastle that there's still work to go before they're up there as title contenders. But look, with the money they've got and the backing they've got, they'll be there eventually. But look, we know what Klopp can do. He's a master at winning games where things don't go quite to plan. So fair play to Liverpool. They got the job done overall. That's all that matters.
Dan, anything to add there?
Just on Darwin Nunez, all I can say is a broken clock's right twice a day. So
Facts.
There we go. Right. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to announce that because it didn't happen during the match review the other day, for the first time on the Premier League review show, we get to do the Predictions League, guys. Look at us. Look at this little show just getting one of the main events of the channel. And these are the results of game week 3. And we get to do our brick of the week in a minute. JC, look at you, mate. 3 greens, 4 oranges, 4 correct results and correct scores. Rich doing very, very well there with 2 correct scores. He gets Chelsea and Villa right. Nate doing very, very well. 6 correct results there. I've got 8 points off of the Brentford Palace. I don't know why people predicted for us to win or for Brentford to win. Whoever did that, lol, you're laughing. Dan, we'll get on to you because, funnily enough, Nate, are you seeing what I'm seeing? It certainly looks like 2 people in this channel have done the scores. Now, correct me if I'm right. This has happened before. No,
hold on. It was a little different the first time around.
Yeah, it was.
It was a little different the first time around. Hang on. I'm going to defend Dan slightly here, okay? Because with you were doing it for a few weeks and then you fessed up.
I did it once.
Uh-huh.
So don't. Whoa! No. Hold your tongue, boy. Did it once.
Oh, look at you getting defensive. Hold on.
And I took the penalty.
Yeah. Well, even then, we have a problem with that. But look, so obviously, when it came to the predictions, Dan had copied someone.
Mm-hmm.
He did admit to it, so fair play to him. It's not like he tried to hide it or anything else.
Yeah, he didn't do it me.
No, because
I'm an idiot.
Basically, Dan slightly self-snitched and Nicky fully self-snitched.
Oh yeah.
So that's 2 out of 6 of self-snitched. So there's a little bit of an epidemic going on right now in the Eagle Eye team.
We're consistent.
Put me on the stand. Let me say my piece. Look, so basically what happened was normally what I do is I just copy someone random in the chat. I put it into my notepad and then I edit it and change it and then I paste it back. I pasted the wrong one. These were my original predictions that I'd actually done. And I put them in the group chat. So you can see them right there. I put them ages ago in the Eagle Eye group chat. And 20 minutes into the Chelsea game, I realised what I'd done. I thought these guys would take pity on me. I can see Nicky's.
I'm sorry. You thought what?
Yeah.
You thought we would
Look,
pity?
I was not
crazy. Rich alone is the biggest bully on YouTube.
I was naive, okay? I was young and naive.
A likely defense. I was naive. Okay, we'll go with that. But
all right. So Dan has accepted a 15-point penalty deduction. JC says he was driving; he didn't have a say. But I think the voting was a majority landslide. Dan, has been deducted 15 points, and these are the current standings for the Eagle-Eyed Football channel.
Yeah.
Rich up to 25. JC takes now second place after Dan's penalty. He is now on 29. Nate on 20. I'm still in the lead on 31. Dan is now on 14. RHEA on 21. And the guest, because obviously we didn't have a guest for the game. So that is that. Unfortunately, Rich has not provided me with how it looks at the top of the whole league table. So we just have the bottom half. So we see Nate, Coltrane, Vibes, Statman Dan, and the guests. He's in the chat, and he's there in the comments, and they're like, where's the top half of the table, mate?
Do you know what the most jarring thing was?
What's that, sir?
If I copy and pasted the right ones, I would have got 11 points this weekend.
Yes, you would have. Yes, you would. 13, rather. 13. You would have got 13 points. But then you would have still been deducted.
No, I'm saying if I hadn't pasted the wrong ones. And
you would have got 11 points. Yes,
he
you
had
would have. And you would have been cooking, mate.
Then he would have
been cooking.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not saying this because I keep getting.
No, apologies. Sometimes StreamYard does this, especially when you're uploading things on your phone. It takes away something. Hold on, so I'm just adding it back up now. You will see an overlay called number 3.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much,
There
sir.
it is. Apologies.
There we are, guys. There is the top of the table. Thank you very much to Rich. There we see RHEA, Louis, Moss, all on 21. Sharing up there. We go all the way up there. Rich on 25. Dexter on 25. I keep laughing at them. Manj on 26. JC and Martin now sharing second place. And yet at the summit. Now, I said to Rich before the season started that I was going to do a bit of a villain turn, a heel turn if you are known as a wrestling fan. Thank you. Thank you. See how no one is pleased that I'm in the lead here. I am.
It's game week 3, mate.
Yeah, let me have this, okay?
No. The smugness is mad right now.
Nicky,
shut up.
Do you know why you're currently top? Because I can't copy and paste properly. That is why.
No, but let's not forget, it's still game week 3, and if Nicky snitches again, he could be in trouble.
If it happens again, then Rich, what will I look?
It's ain't looking good, man. It's not looking good at all.
I keep using that comment. I love using that. It's so much fun. Right, let's move on to my favorite segment. It's time. We're going to start with this one. It's time for Brick of the Week. And ladies and gentlemen, here are the contenders. We have Aaron Ramsdale for his slip up, Erling Haaland for the penalty miss, Virgil van Dijk for the red card, and Statman Dan representing Eagle-Eyed Football. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is...
Our unanimous voting, people. It is, of course.
Statman Dan! The first ever... Now, this is genuinely true. This is the first time a non-player, even a factor, the member of the team, is now Brick of the Week.
Oh, wait a minute. Rich has just sent a shot at you, Nicky. Hang on.
9 points ahead of me before. Now it's 6. Oh, yeah. You never know. It's that this is the great thing about the Predictions League. It's forever changing. Statman Dan has accepted graciously. I will note he has accepted the gracious award of Brick of the Week. So congratulations, Dan.
Thank you.
You are Brick of the Week.
Just want to say thank you to my mum, my dad, Duda as well.
Right.
Oscar speech for Brick of the Week. I love it.
It's great, isn't it? Right. Let's move on to Baller of the week. Again, shout out to Rich for making those graphics for me for this show. They are sublime, sir. This week's Baller of the Week is, of course, Darwin Nunez. He won by a landslide in the Eagle-Eyed Football Chat. Other contenders included this week Raheem Sterling for his brace against Luton Town, Mark Flecken for his performance against Crystal Palace. He could save anything he could. James Ward-Prowse for fantastic performance against Brighton. Matty Cash versus Burnley, and Darwin Nunez, who of course is the winner this week. So there we go. Right. It's time for also, if I find Zibana, it's time for Team of the Week. And this week's Team of the Week looks a little something like this. Sorry, Dan, I've just completely cut you out there. Oh dear.
That's fine. That's fine because I didn't actually read the other contention, so you can't see my reaction.
There it is. So we have in goal Mark Flecken. That was chosen by myself. Nathan, you have chosen the defense. Now, game week 1, I assign you the attack, and you decided that naming Isak and Haaland, who both scored fantastic braces, was, quote, too easy a pick, meaning I had to overrule you because it was an idiotic thing to say. You've included Trent Alexander-Arnold in this back four. I'd like your thoughts on Trent being involved in your decision there, please. You've got 3 out of 4, which is fantastic. Why Trent?
Because again, if we go by your logic of, you have to pick the best players in the league because otherwise it's not your show. Look, Trent had a mare against Newcastle for the goal. Look, we know Trent has sus games in him. But realistically, if I go and pick Kyle Walker as a prime example, you know Kyle Walker's going to have a 10 out of 10 game in a Manchester City team full of players. Trent had a shocker for the Newcastle goal. I admit that.
No, don't worry.
I wasn't blessed with options to pick from. Like, seriously, am I saying that Trent was brilliant? No. But of the players I could think of, I thought, okay, yeah, he had a shocker for the Newcastle goal. But for the most part, he wasn't terrible. Wasn't great, but wasn't terrible. Look, maybe it's a bad pick, fair enough. But look, we can't all be perfect like you, Nicky, thinking that, I never get anything wrong.
I'm just saying there are 9 other games to choose from, and Trent was your choice. You might have to be relegated to choosing the manager next week again. That's all I'm saying.
Right, yeah. Megalomaniac.
Moving on, Dan, you chose the midfield. We can't unfortunately see you because you're blocked out by the picture. You chose the midfield of Jared Bowen, James Maddison, Rodri, and Raheem Sterling.
I thought I did the manager.
Yes, you did. Sorry. You chose David Moyes. I'm going off for last week. I'm going off for last week. See how happy he is that I make a mistake. See how happy he is I've made a mistake.
Mr. Perfect ain't so perfect. What do you know?
I'm sorry, but my picks for Team of the Week have been, based on Team of the Week.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dan, you chose David Moyes as Manager of the Week. Yes, JC.
That's enough for him.
I just wanted to say, I'm sorry to say again, it's Moyes.
It's Moyes? It's Moyes? Right. Obviously, he did very well to be picked there. JC chose the midfield. I will stand corrected here. He chose Jared Bowen, James Maddison, Rodri, and Raheem Sterling. All 4 players getting on the score sheet. And Rich did choose Michail Antonio and Darwin Nunez up top for the attack. And that is Team of the Week for game week 3. Right. What else have we got to do here? FPL. Let's have a look at the FPL, shall we?
Do we have to?
Yes. Yes, we do. So, look at Rich. Up top, 3rd place, on 193 points. He had Jackson and he had Sterling in his team. So, of course, he's going to go flying up the table. as well as we see CM in second. He's dropped off of the top spot. Actually, it's joint second for CM and Rich there. As we go down, JC has fallen into 14th. It's going to be a while till you see my name. I know it is. There's Martin in 23rd. I'm in 29th now, along with Louis. As we keep going down, Rob is in 33rd. Keep going down. James in 42nd. Santi in 44th. We'll go to the next page. And there it is. And there is making up the Eagle-Eyed Football Fantasy.
Oh, you're below me. Damn. I thought
Am I?
I was bottom out of all of us. Or have I read that wrong? Oh no, you're way above me. Why did that come up like that? Sorry, I got really confused. Sorry, ignore me.
I was about to say.
I thought you clicked on the next page. That's why I got so confused. I was like, why are you on the second page?
Right.
No, the bloopers are getting out of control here. What's going on?
This has been consistently on the Eagle-Eye Football. Bloopers are running mad. Right. The Premier League table as it stands. So working from the bottom, Everton, Luton, Burnley are in the bottom three. Sheffield make up 17th. All four teams there yet to get even a point on the board. Bournemouth, Wolves, Nottingham Forest, and Newcastle, Fulham, Palace make up the rest of the bottom half of the table. In the top 10, Chelsea, Brentford, Man United, Villa, and Brighton make up from 10th to 6th. And in the top 5, all teams that are yet to even score a loss: Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, West Ham, and Man City, who are absolutely perfect as it stands. Oh, this was a long show. This was almost an hour and a half. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned to the Eagle-Eyed Football channel, because obviously Palace will be in action tonight. Are we in action tonight against Plymouth, or is it tomorrow?
Yeah, it's tonight.
It's tonight. There we go.
But I don't think it's on TV. So
It's
if you
not.
manage to find a stream, very well done.
Yes, exactly.
There are no streams because I've been looking around. There are none.
There we go.
But like, team news will be out in about, give or take, nearly 15 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, true.
There we go. So stay tuned to all of the Palace channels for that. Meanwhile, from us, anything we would like to plug, gentlemen? The show is yours.
No, the only things really are the threads on that I do.
The fantastic
they'll come out every Monday. Now the transfer window is going to close. It will just be like players that I think would do well at Palace, not necessarily people that we're rumored to be with. Next week will be it'll be whoever we sign, but I don't know who that is, so we'll see.
Well, we do have something. Of course, you can join JC for Transfer Weekly. It's going to be a busy old week, what with deadline day coming up. We will also have a deadline day stream. Please do stay tuned for JC's last Transfer Weekly of the summer transfer window. They've been fantastic to watch. I'm learning about players that I didn't even consider for Palace as well. We also have Tact Eagle for tomorrow. We have Rich giving the Roy Presser on Friday, as well as the deadline day stream. And of course, stay tuned on Saturday for the Wolves preview ahead for that game. So, guys, this has been a very, very long hour and a half show, but thank you very much for joining me for this, the Premier League Review Show, episode 3. That is all from us, I do believe. So, from all of us to all of you, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for being in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Eagle-Eyed Football channel to stay tuned for everything Crystal Palace, and we will see you in the next one as soon as I find the outro. Anyway, peace. Eagles.
Eagles.